Hey, good afternoon all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So last two classes we discussed about functions and its examples. So I would like to do two more programs. So today we are going to see print prime numbers within a range. So here we are making use of a function. So the program means here we will give a lower limit and also an upper limit. So within that limit, including those upper and outer limit, lower and upper limit, including those lower and upper limit, if the numbers are prime, it will display those numbers. So for example, if I give 1 and 10, it will print 2 because 2 is prime, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 will not be printed because those are non-prime numbers. So it will print 2, 3, 5, 7. So the two inputs will be there, lower limit and upper limit. So I hope you understood the problem. Okay, listen carefully. Okay, first I am going to write a function to check whether a given number is prime or not. I am going to write a function which checks whether a given number is prime or not. For that, I am going to define a function called isPrime. So this is a function name. And it will return 0. The result will be 0 if it is not prime. Listen carefully. And it will return, or its result will be 1 if it is prime. So the return value is either 0 or 1. So since 0 and 1 are integer, we can write int is prime because it will return an integer value. But we know the values 0s and 1s. And here we are passing a value also. So suppose if I give 5 as input, this function must return 1 because it is a prime number. If I give 10, it must return 0. So the input or the parameter or the argument to the function isPrime is also integer. So listen carefully. So first I am going to write the function declaration int isPrime. I have only one argument, so I am writing only one int. Put a semicolon. So function declaration is over. Next I am going to write function definition. We all know function definition has two parts, function header and function body. First I am going to write function header int isPrime int x. Here x is the actual parameter, formal parameter. X is the formal parameter. So here you just try to recollect the program what we have written earlier. We already written the program to check whether a given number is prime or not. Okay. So I am declaring one variable int I. So Adidev, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember that for loop? What is that for loop we have written to check whether a given number is prime or not?
For loop, for I
Okay, I equal to.
equal to or mail, sir.
So anyone remembers that one? Advait,
Yes, sir.
what is that for loop?
I equal to 2.
Okay, I equal to 2. Then
I less than or equal to n by 2.
here, there we have used n by 2. Here what I have to use? There the input is n. Here the input is
X.
x. So x by 2. Okay, very good. Then
Then I plus plus.
I plus plus. Okay. So there I used a flag variable. So here I am not using any flag variable. If I, sorry, x mod I equal to 0, that means we are dividing from 2 to x by 2. In the process of that division, if at any point if the remainder becomes 0, what's the meaning? It is not prime. It is not prime. So you just write return 0. So return 0 means the control will go out of the function. So if any statements are written below, or is any statements below, it will not be executed. It will not be executed. So here I will write return 1. So this is a very simple function, and I think this is very easier than the earlier one. Earlier you have to understand the flag concept and all. Here there is no flag concept. So I will explain with the help of a small example. Suppose I am giving 9. So what are the possible I values? Acknell Joes,
Nice, sir.
if the input is 9, what are the possible I values?
Sir,
What is the first value, initial value of I?
I is 2 initial.
2. Okay. So how far it will go? Here what is given there? I less than or equal to x by 2. What is x by 2? Acknell,
Yes, sir.
what is x by 2?
So 9 by
9 by 2. What is 9 by 2?
it is 4 here because
It is 4
single.
because it is integer. So it will only execute for 2, 3 and 4. So first I value will be 2. So x mod 2. What is x? 9. 9 mod 2 is 1 because the remainder is 1. So this condition is not true. So it will not execute this return statement. It will not execute this return statement for I value equal to 2. Then this statement executes I plus plus. I becomes 3. Then x mod 3. X is 9. 9 mod 3 is 0. 9 mod 3 is 0. So this statement will execute return 0. So from wherever we call that function, just imagine I have made a function call for is prime here. The control will come back here. The remaining parts will not execute. The remaining parts will not execute. I am taking another example, 7. 7 means the I values will range from 2 to 2 and 3. It will only execute for 2 and 3. First 7 mod 2. 7 mod 2 is 1. So this statement will not execute. Next is 7 mod 3. 7 mod 3 is also 1. So this statement will not execute. After that the loop will terminate because at some point I becomes 4. When I becomes 4, it will not execute anymore. So it will come out of the loop and execute the next statement. What is the next statement written here? Next statement is return 1. So when I give input 1, this return 1 will work. It will never execute this return 0. So return 1 means it is prime. Is it clear? If it is clear, please type C in the chat box. Any doubt you can ask.
Sir, return one minute.
What? I didn't get you. Return 1?
Sir, I do not understand return one, sir.
Return. You understood return 0.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just only told you. Okay, no, not don't mute the mic. Suppose I am giving input 7. What are the possible I values?
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Okay. So for I values 2 and 3, this loop will execute. What is x mod 2?
Uh, 1.
1. Will this statement execute return 0?
No, sir.
No. What is the next I value?
3.
3. What is 7 mod 3?
1.
1. So will this return 0 execute?
No.
No. So will this for loop execute any more time?
No, sir.
No. After for loop, what is the statement given there?
Return 1.
Return 1. So what will be the value returned?
2 and 3.
1. 1. 1 is returned. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So when input is 7, what is returned? What's your name?
Mayank.
Mayank. So when the input is 7, what's the value returned by the function?
2 and 3. No, sir. 1.
1. 1 means?
Yes.
1 means? Prime or not prime?
1 prime.
Prime. So 7 is prime. That's why it's returned 1. Now it's clear.
Yes.
So when whatever the number, if when we dividing by 2 to that number by 2, if at some point that remainder becomes 0, the meaning is it is not prime. At that time return 0 will happen. Once this statement is executed, the remaining part will never execute because the control is given back to the caller part. So if never the remainder becomes 0, these statements will this line number 8 will not execute. Then the due course of the loop, this line number 8 will not execute. So once the for loop is finished, this return 1 will work. So return 1 means it is prime. Any doubt? Okay. So we will write the remaining part. So I am going to write the main. So here actually I am going to print prime numbers within a range. So for int L and U, lower limit and upper limit, I am declaring one more variable I. Printf and enter range. Scanf %d comma $L comma $U. So I am writing a for loop. For, listen carefully, for I equal to L, I less than or equal to U, I plus plus. Alex,
Yes, sir.
So here if I give lower limit as 1 and up, okay, sorry, 1 minute. I'm giving lower limit as 5 and upper limit as 15. What are the possible I values? Alex?
5. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
5.
7.
What are the possible I values? Just look at the for loop and say the possible I values. I equal to L means I equal to 5. Here U means 15. So what are the possible I values?
6, 7,
Okay, 6, 7,
7, 8,
8,
9,
9, 10,
10,
11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So these are the possible I values. So we are going to print the prime numbers in this range. The prime numbers in this range. The prime numbers are 5, 7, 11 and 13. 5, 7, 11 and 13. So listen carefully. What I am going to write here is, if is prime of I, printf percentage d comma I. Okay, listen carefully. So what is the first value of I? I is 5. 5 less than or equal to 15. So these statements will going to execute. Here inside if, what I have written, is prime of I. What is I here? I is 5. What is prime of 5? Ankur Jaiswal. Ankur, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So what is prime of 5? So
The
this
5.
x value becomes 5. So if x value is 5, what will it return? Ankur?
1.
1. It will return 1. Okay, very good. It will return 1. So the entire value of is prime of 5 becomes 1. That is if 1. If 1 means true. If 1 means true. So this statement will execute. Printf percentage d comma I. What is the value of I? I is 5. So 5 will be printed. 5 will be printed. Then it will execute for next value of I. Debug.
Yes, sir.
What is prime of 6? Here I value is 6. So is prime of I is means is prime of 6. What is prime of 6?
Return 0.
It will return 0. Okay. So the entire value becomes 0. So it is, the meaning is if 0. 0 means false. Non-zero means true. So this condition becomes false. So this statement will not execute. That means this 6 will not be printed. Fida Sahuda.
Yes, sir.
What is the next value of I?
Yes, sir.
What is the next value of I?
7.
7. What is prime of 7?
1.
1. So this condition becomes true. Since it is true, it will print 7. So the output is 7. Similarly, 8 will not be printed, 9 will not be printed, 10 will not be printed. It will print 11 and 13. Any doubt? Any doubt? If anybody have any doubt, please ask. Otherwise, type clear in the chat box. Okay. So if you have any confusion in this line, in this statement, you can write it like this also. If is prime of I equal to 1. In that way also you can write. So to understand, so this can be written in this way also. To convey that all, I have written this. This is the simpler form. Okay. I will execute the program. So I am giving range 5 and 15. So 5, 7, 11 and 13 is printed. I hope you understood this program. Okay. I'm moving to the next program. It's a very simple one. It is to understand nesting of function. Nesting of function means from one function we can call another function. To understand that well, I am writing this function. Find the ratio of x by a plus b. We have to use three functions: ratio, add and division. Ratio, add and division. So three functions are there. First I will write add function int. So I already told you function declarations are not mandatory. So in this function I am not using any function declaration. So first I will write add int x comma int y, return, I already told you can write expressions also, return x plus y. I'm not using any third variable. Next I am writing division. Division, there is a chance of getting a floating point number. So I am writing it as float. So I am converting everything to float. There is no problem with that. Addition also I am writing float. Div. Here also I am using same variables, int x comma int y. Return x by y. Then I am writing another function called ratio. Float here I am finding ratio of x by a plus b. So three parameters are there. So float x, float y, comma float z. Here I am making use of the earlier two functions. So first I have to add a and b. A and b means first two parameters. Add x comma y. Then I have to perform division. Div thing, I will change the question a bit for clarity. C by A plus B. So C means this is Z. Z comma add x plus y. So this is for only understanding purpose. This looks a bit complicated. It's only to understand that we can write the program like this way also. I'll explain it.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, please ask.
Sir, from add function and division function, we can also find the value of C by A plus B. No?
Now here, this is only to understand nesting of function. There is no need to write all these functions at all. It's only for understanding. Only a sample. Just consider it a sample example. Okay. So I'm writing main function. I'm declaring 3 variables. Float a comma b comma c. Printf. Enter values of a comma b comma c. Scanf. Since all are float, I am using %f, comma ampersand a, comma ampersand b, comma ampersand c. Here also printf. Ratio equal to %f. Here inside printf I am calling the function ratio of a comma b comma c. First I will explain the program, then I will execute it. So I have 3 functions. Actually I have a total of 4 functions here. So in add I have 2 variables, x and y. In division I have 2 variables, x and y. Always remember this x and this x are different. This y and this y are different. In ratio I have 3 variables, x, y and z. So these 3 x are distinct. These 3 y are also distinct. In main I have 3 variables, a, b and c. So what I am going to do here is c by a plus b. So I am giving values c as 9, a as 1 and b as 2. So in the end I will get 9 by 3. The result also will be 3. The result will be 3. So here I already told you a will be 1, b will be 2 and c will be 9. So I am making a function called ratio of a comma b comma c. Ratio of a comma b comma c. So the control will come here. Here I have x, y and z. So a, b, c means 1, 2, 9. So this 1 will be copied to this x. So one more thing, this is for main, this is for ratio, this is for division, this is for addition. So here the values will be 1, 2 and 9. Here, return division of z comma add x comma y. First, this call will be made. Add x comma y. Here we are looking at this x and this y. X is 1, y is 2. Add means the control will go here. So this x will be copied to this x. So this x will be copied here. X becomes 1. In addition, x becomes 1. And y becomes 2. So here, return x plus y. X plus y means 3. 3 will be returned. Where it will be returned? It will be returned instead of add x comma y. Here this becomes 3. So the control came back here. Again there is a call. Division of z comma 3. The meaning is division of z comma 3. Z means this is z. Division of 9 comma 3. Division of 9 comma 3. So the control will go here. Here 9, 3. So this x becomes 9. This y becomes 3. So it will execute this one. Return x by y. X by y is also 3. X by y is also 3. So here this entire thing is also 3. Then this statement will execute. Return 3. Return 3. Where it will return? Because the call for ratio came from here. So here 3 will be returned. So ratio equal to percentage f comma 3. In place of percentage f, 3 will be printed. This is how this program execute. So it is only for understanding purpose. We can make nested calls. From main I called ratio. From ratio I called addition and division. So only for understanding purpose I have written this program. I will run this program also. So our inputs are 1, 2 and 9. So I got the ratio as 3.000. I got the expected output. So any doubt in this program? Any lines? Any concepts? If it is clear, please type clear in the chat box. Any doubts? So initially someone asked doubt. I think it is Mayank. Mayank,
Yes, sir.
I think you are the one who asked the doubt earlier, na?
Yes.
Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this is all about functions. I hope you understood the concept of functions. So again, try to study the functions, try to watch the videos. If you have any doubt, you can ask at any time, no problem. Okay, moving to next topic. So our topic is library functions. Library functions are those functions which are already defined in C library. Example, Printf, Scanf, Sqrt, etc. So we have defined some functions. Fact we have defined in one of the examples. Ratio we have defined in the recent example. Addition also, when we studied category of functions, we defined addition. So these functions are written by the user or the programmer. In all the previous days, I am the programmer, so I have written it. So those are called user-defined function or programmer-defined function. Similarly, there are some predefined functions. So predefined means, so the C language is developed by someone. So the person or the team who developed C program written some functions. Those functions are called library functions. So it is already written and it's already in the C compiler. The user can make use of those library functions. The examples are Printf, Scanf, Sqrt. So many examples are there. Printf is a library function because it is already defined in C program. So what is the specific task performed by that printf function? We already studied. Function is something which do some specific task. the specific task of printf is to display something to the monitor, display something to the screen. Similarly, scanf is a library function. It is a predefined function. It is already defined by the C developer. The purpose of or the task of scanf is to read data from the keyboard. Another one function is Sqrt. I think we also discussed about Sqrt while we studied prime numbers. So Sqrt means it is a predefined function which finds square root of a given number. So while writing a program or while we are making some mathematical computation with the help of the C program, in that computation, if there is a need to find square root, we can use the library function or the predefined function Sqrt. So many functions are there. Next point, we just need to include appropriate header file to use these functions. So I already told you these functions are already in the C library. In C library, we have some header files. We had some header files. For example, one header file is stdio. stdio. So these printf and this scanf are written inside this stdio file. Its extension is actually .h. Inside this file, the definition is written. Similarly, I have another header file called math.h. So the square root is written inside math.h. So it is already predefined in the C library. C library means some header files are there. Inside those header files, the definition of these functions are written. Is it clear? Any clarifications needed in the introduction to library functions? If it is clear, please type clear in the chat box. Okay, first function is ABS and its header file is stdlib. Stdlib is standard library. Its function prototype is int ABS int n. So we all know absolute. What is the meaning of absolute? Absolute of -5 means 5. Absolute of +5 means 5. So that absolute value, to find the absolute value of any quantity, we can use this function ABS. So I will write the example main int k equal to -9 printf %d, comma abs of k. Here I just need to call the function. No need to write the definition because abs is already predefined. So I'm just executing the program. So here I missed the semicolon. So that's error. Again I got some error. Okay. So k is -9, but absolute of -9 is 9. So before moving to the next function, here this is called the log. Log means the history. So here something called implicit declaration of function ABS. That is a warning. So here in this function, I already told you these library functions are written in some header files. So implicit declaration means the program automatically fetches that header file from the library. Automatically searches the header file from the library. So actually, the good programming practice is to include these header files before the main. We have to include the header file. So here I am using ABS of k. So now we just remember just remember these red lines 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 red lines are there, or 4 warnings are there. The warning is because it actually searched the library file for the function ABS. So it is actually not a good practice. So better we include it. Include. So here the system library is stdlib. stdlib dot h. Sorry, here there's a hash also. I think some syntax error is there. Sorry. This is the way to include the library file. Okay. Here I have only 3 warnings. Earlier I have 4 warnings. Because here I mentioned the library for ABS. Similarly, Printf, I already told you, Printf is also a library function. So we will discuss about Printf later. So here COS to find cos of a number. So if we want to find some cos value of a number, you can call just cos of some number. So but you have to include the library file math.h. So in some compilers, you must either the inclusion of those header file is mandatory. The inclusion of that header file is mandatory. So anyway, the compiler I am using automatically searches those libraries. That's why so far in the programs I never included the header files. So actually including header file is a very good practice. So you can try these things. Cause getchar we already discussed. Getchar reads a single character from standard input. stdin means standard input. So to get a single character input, we can use getchar function. Log is to find natural logarithm. Log 10 is to find logarithm to base 10. So another one function is power of. So we will try power of. So here, if you look at this one, it is actually returning a double. Double means it's a data type. I already discussed about that double, which contain fractional numbers, which denotes fractional numbers. And also we can pass 2 fractional numbers. So this is the function prototype. It takes 2 fractional numbers. We can also pass integer because it will automatically convert it to fractional number. If we pass 5, it will be converted to 5.0000. So the default or the actual, so it is a predefined function. It is defined for the data type double. So I will try that also. So I am declaring 2 more variables. So I am declaring a double itself, double. X equal to 100, comma, y equal to 1.5. Here I am giving a /n. Printf. Since it is double, we can use %f itself because it is a fractional number or a floating point number. Double is a bit more larger floating point number. It can hold larger floating point number. So we can use %f itself, comma, POW of 100, comma, 1.5. POW means 100 raised to 1.5. So 100 raised to 1.5. Can anyone say the answer? 100 raised to 1.5? Anu Fasmin?
Yes, sir.
What is 100 raised to 1.5?
100 raised to 1 by 2.
100 raised to 1 by 2.
10.
Okay. Wait. So can I write it like 100 raised to 1 plus 1 by 2? The meaning is same now. 1.5 is same as 1 plus 1 by 2. So this I can write it as 100 raised to 1 into 100 raised to 1 by 2. What is 100 raised to 1 by 2? Root of 100, it is 10. That is 10 into 100. So the result will be 1000. Let me check the output. Here also I missed the semicolon. So I got the value as 1000. I got the value of 1000. So I hope you understood POW. So here also there is a warning, implicit declaration of function printf. So I already, okay, we will come back to printf. So I hope you understood that one. Power of. Then printf. Printf, the library function is stdio.h. So it is a good practice. Whenever you use printf, you have to include stdio.h. So remember the syntax. Always it start with a hash, then include, then the header file within angular bracket. So one interesting thing, you have to understand it properly. So here printf has some parameters. This one it will be clear when we study string. Some parameters are there. So it is returning some value. Printf is returning some value and it is integer. Printf is returning some value and it is integer. So here I will try to explain with the help of an example. I am declaring one more variable called j. J equal to printf. So I am removing all these things for more clarity. Hello. Printf %d, comma j. For understanding purpose, I am giving a /n here. So here there is some error. Printf. So here also I missed the semicolon. So I'm executing it. So I got hello followed by 5. So what happens is here I have given printf hello. You all know what is printf hello. Printf hello means it will print hello to the monitor. And I already told you it will return some integer value. That integer value I have stored in j, and that j is printed. Actually that printed value is 5. So what will be the 5? Can anyone say? Fida Sahuda. Fida Sahuda, can you hear me? So I have printed hello and also get a value 5. What is that 5?
5 times.
5 times, not 5 times. In hello there are 5 characters. 5 characters are printed. That is the 5. Okay, you can mute the mic. Suppose I am typing hello, good. The output will be 10. Because HELLO contain 5, then there is a space 6, then GOOD contain 4. So 5 plus 1 plus 4 is 10. So sometime in the examination, they may ask some simple questions like this for output prediction. For that only I said this. Okay. So printf we already discussed. Scanf. So scanf also returns some integer. Scanf also returns some integer. That one also I will try to explain with the help of an example. I am declaring 2 more values, j and x, comma. I am declaring on char float value also, float y. Then I write scanf. I am reading in the integer value x, then I am reading the floating value y, so I am using percentage f, then ampersand x, comma ampersand y. So I am executing the program. Some more error is there, y undeclared. This is small y, not capital Y. So actually the cursor is blinking. That means computer is waiting for some input. The first input must be an integer. Second input must be a floating point. So I'm giving 10 and 12.5. And scanf return 2. What will be this 2? Filsa Kareem. Filsa Kareem, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What is that? What will be that 2? Can you make a guess?
X-ഉം Y-യും രണ്ടെണ്ണമായിട്ടുള്ളതാണോ?
Oh, correct. So here I have read two values, 10 and 12.5. So scanf will always return the values read by the scanf or scanned by the scanf. So it will be always the count of this percentage symbols. Percentage D, 2 percentages they are there, so it will be 2. So these are the details of Printf and scanf. I think it found to be a bit interesting. Printf and scanf are returning something. Printf always returns, so it is included in the slide, which is the total number of printed characters. Which is the total number of printed character. Because when I printed hello, it is 5. Here, the scanf function returns the number of fields that were successfully converted and assigned. Successfully converted and assigned. It will be. I will explain with the help of an example here. Here, it is actually waiting for an integer and a character, integer and a floating point. Again, I am giving 10 and some 12. So 12 will be automatically converted to float. I am giving one more value, 15. So here it is saying 2. I have entered 2 values. I have entered 3 values actually. But scanf successfully read only 2 values. First 2 values will be read, 10 and 12. Okay, that's the meaning. Successfully converted and assigned. That 10 will be assigned to x, that 12 will be assigned to y, 15 will be discarded. So that's the meaning. Okay, I hope you understood. Okay, one more is there, Sqrt, we already discussed that. Header file is math.h. There are a number of more than 100 library functions are there. I have mentioned only a few and also important ones. For reference, you can search it in the internet for more library functions. Shan Muhammad saying, I have to go to mosque. Okay, so you can leave, no problem. Watch the remaining part in the recorded video.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So anyone want to, if anyone want to go to mosque, you can go, but you have to watch the video later, no problem. So any doubt in this library functions? If it is clear, please type clear in the chat box. Okay. So next topic is recursion, and actually I am not going to that recursion, but I am going to discuss some pending programs. So also some important programs.